This is a test of the boundary part alert system.
Don't laugh.
This is the story of our season. We're going to tell you how we're feeling.
Started off bad on the David Unsworth 4-0 beating down south near London.
So all the fans got on his back. It was down to Frank, so he got the sack.
They gave the job to Redders and Tomo. 1-3, drew 3, time to go!
They gave the reins to Mickey Mellon. Started okay, 3 wins in 7.
Had a little run around about Christmas. Couldn't beat Gateshead, damn we're useless.
Got in the playoffs, we were dreaming. In March and April, we're kicking and screaming.
So give us a call and start your morning with Matt and Dave
on the football phone.
All right.
Hello.
I'm glad I haven't got kids, Dave, because I'd be embarrassed for them.
Well, it's fine. It's all good.
Hello, welcome to the final Latin's football phone-in of the season.
It's not a Beastie Boys tribute band, if anyone's a bit worried about that. But yeah.
But, you know, it was...
what the bloody hell?
Yeah, we had a bit of time skill, didn't we?
We have a lot of time
before tonight's.
It was either that or talk about the football. So we made the right choice.
Yeah. So look, that was an experience. Yeah. If there's enough demand, we'll do it again. So obviously we won't be doing it again. I think Bob's referring to that. So nice. Yeah, we'll take that.
Yeah.
Also, what the bloody hell, which I think is fair enough. Yeah, although it's our friend Rocco, although your season was poor, it wasn't as bad as Boreham Woods. No, we didn't get relegated, to be fair.
Never mind.
Oldham's own Ant and Deck.
Wow.
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 What do you think? Oh, lol, Lucy, I think that means lovely oral work. As in, you know, our pronunciation, our rapping skills.
Alliteration.
Lovely oral Anyway, something like that.
To stop saying oral.
Brother up for adoption after that? Yeah, well, I don't see you coming on the internet and embarrassing yourself in front of literally tens of people, Flynn.
No, he's too busy.
You know? Someone's reporting on the Everton score. Bob, we don't. I mean, we
don't.
Toffee's 1.0. Is that Everton or Liverpool and Everton? Yeah.
Toffee's 1.0.
Toffee's 1.0. We're talking about. Solihull beating Halifax 3-1 in a playoff game, which we should be in, but we're not. Never mind.
There's one team that's not. Gateshead.
Anyway, the whole point of that thing at the beginning, our little rap, was the little was to encourage you to phone in, start your morning on a football phone in. It's the last one of the season. I mean, if you're
we had a lot of people on Twitter going, "I'm going to be there. I'm going to ring in.
Yeah.
I'm going to bloody ring in."
I can tell you what, for a free that this is free that we've got Ibby in the queue, and obviously we've got Ibby in the. I mean, he's always in the queue. I mean, he's our dependable number one caller of the season, without doubt. So. Yeah, we need callers. We will speak to him in a minute. I would imagine Ibby's got a lot of praise for our rap. Aaron's favourite bit was don't laugh at the start of recording.
It was, yeah.
Calls for Ibby to get the captaincy next season. I think it's a strong contender.
Gonna struggle.
Do we know what good looks like, lads? I mean, we know what it sounds like, guys. We know that our rap sounded pretty good. I doubt we look very good because we couldn't see ourselves because we were reading the words.
Well,
so we've got that to look forward to later. But yeah, we know what good looks like, guys. Should we talk to Ibby?
Let's do it.
Ibby.
Good evening, sexy Dave, Matt.
How are you doing?
Hey,
all right?
You all right?
I'm all right. I hope you find absolutely heartbreaking what's happened with the season. And just can't get my head around it. It will always haunt me until we don't get promoted.
Well, look, I mean, let's go back 2 seasons, Ibby. We were doing a relegation show from the Football League. That was heartbreaking. I think the main emotion I would use for this season is frustration. I think I'm frustrated with this season. It's been a really tough one to get through, hasn't it? It's been hard work. There was that little again, our rap beautifully described it. We had a little run around about Christmas. It looked like we were going to do it, didn't it? And then it just dropped off a bit. We were hopeless, weren't we, towards the end of the season?
Absolutely. I fully agree with you. That's what I've been saying, and it's been a failure. And with Mickey Mellon, I really would like another manager come in because I can't cope with this any longer. His results have been shocking. What do we hold for next season? I'm very worried because he said in his press conference that there is other things happening. Well, if there is other things happening, why don't the club release a statement, which I'm asking the club to at least put something in writing, because we need to keep the faith. But how can we keep the faith when something big has happened with the playoffs? And I don't believe that this manager should carry on next season, because that's a sackable offence, them results. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, you won't be the only fan who feels that way, Ibi. I think there is issues seemingly around the club, and the club haven't said anything. I mean, communication has been lacking. They might argue they don't need to say anything at this stage in the season, but I think I said this on the podcast the other day, that the club's now under greater scrutiny than it's ever been, and I think all clubs are under scrutiny from social media, from fans. People want answers for things all the time. So, what do you think, Dave? When Mick Mellon said that there were things going on behind the scenes, does that mean that should he not say that, or if it's behind the scenes, or?
Well, I think you alluded to it on the podcast, didn't you? About you talked about a manager who doesn't make excuses. He's making a bloody lot of excuses, and also he's bringing out a bit of dirty laundry where it shouldn't need to be. And then he's also having a bit of double standards where he won't even talk or mention Reid. So he's sending a lot of mixed signals, which is causing a lot of frustration to a lot of fans. And the results aren't helping him. If he was winning games and he was sending them signals, it's a bit different. But he's had one win in 13, is it?
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season. It's not good enough. So, yeah, I just don't think it's right.
Yeah, but I mean, we're going back to
Am I echoing? I'm echoing.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a strange sound there. Just get a bit closer. Closer, yeah.
Closer to the microphone.
So, but yeah, I think that you were on here regularly calling for David Unsworth's head, Ibi, and it started now with Mickey Mellon. The thing is, it's back to square one, isn't it? And you can say that Mellon's he's not had full season. He's not had a summer. He's not been able to recruit his own players. So there'll be arguments for and against it. Should the team and should Mellon have done better this season? Absolutely. Should they have maintained their playoff position? Absolutely. Was winning one game in 13 at the end of the season a disgrace? Absolutely. Does that mean Mellon should automatically get the sack? Well, now you get into that slightly more ambiguity, because some people will say yeah, other people say look, he only signed 7 players of his own. Like, you've got to give him time. So we're going back to square one now. We'll start this season. We'll go through the summer with exactly the same.
Sorry, I just had to stop you there. I think Mickey Mellon has done something right. Done the right thing, releasing everyone. Needs to make penis something of his budget next season. I'm sorry,
Gary. Have you got something on your mind, Gary?
Sorry, Abir. We had to be that. Yeah. But yeah, I think his record has been pretty poor. And
yeah, you say
he's got to go. But would you not give him the summer, Abir?
I'm sorry, but after this season, I've lost my faith, because he's made a lot of excuses. And he kept telling us it's the playoffs, we're going for it. Well, he did. He was making a lot of noises, but now he needs to fall down on his sword and pass on this job. Look, all season that I didn't call up for his head. I was giving him chances, but he's broken my back with these results. And secondly, Mr. Darren Royal is a friend of you guys, but he needs to come out and say something now. This is a good opportunity for him, because the longer he remains silent is baffling, and also he has made mistakes. And I've got nothing against the chat, but come on, guys, it's time to wake up and let us know what direction are we going into next season, whether Mellon is staying or what is happening? Are they heartbroken? What is the plan on budget? What's happening with the season tickets and other minor things? Because look, I love this football club. I thought we would have done it, but we haven't. And you guys have been outstanding all season doing this phone in. And I'm just hoping to see the good times coming back next season.
Thank you for that. But I mean, I think look, I mean, Brad tweeted something that a Chesterfield fan had posted on the forum the other day. And it was basically just saying, look, it takes some adapting to get into this league. We heard it from Stockport when they came on our podcast. A lot of our fan base have expected it to be a lot easier than it is. And we've been told by other clubs that have come down that it's not easy, that it takes a lot of adjusting, that when you've come from a situation that we were in, that you've got to be patient to get things right. And the board tries to be patient with Unsworth. I mean, I've seen people writing all kinds of crap about us backing Unsworth and blah blah blah. We were backing the board from that last season. We said if they've got the job, and we will back him as long as he's the manager and give him time and give him patience, and the board will make the decision. And the board made the decision. I'm not swayed by what other fans think. I'm not swayed by what other people say. I'll make my own decision and stand by it. And I'd like the board to do that as well. They've signed Mellon. They're paying off Unsworth still, no doubt. Then they won't be paying off two managers. Like they'll be paying off six years worth of contracts. Like, and you can't just keep chopping and changing. You have to if you bring a manager in, you have to give him the time and the resources to do his job.
Yeah, one question, Mark. You keep saying we're still paying David Unsworth. Yeah, I've been told clearly he's already been paid off. We're no longer paying him.
Right. I just assume that, really. I just assume that they don't pay it off in one go. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But no, the thing is that it's what the issue is, and this is where you've got to hold the board to account at some point. But when it's about when is that point? When is it appropriate to say that they've been wasting money? Because you can look at the players that we're releasing now. Some of the players that are on contracts. It's not about being the biggest spenders. It's about being the wisest spenders. We've got to spend our money smartly. And hiring managers and then sacking them after a few months is not a smart way to run the football club. It's not a smart use of the budget. So it's giving people time to learn from the mistakes and do things the right way. So I think they've got to give him time. Unless something is completely untenable in the background that we are not privy to, then I think the board are going to sell up. We've appointed an experienced manager. We think he's the man for the job, and they're going to let him get on with it. And for me, this is the same thing as we say under Unsworth. If the board are backing him and they're giving him the resources, there's absolutely nothing to gain as fans from getting on the manager's back. That's always been my point. People have been taking that and listening to it and hearing what they want and saying, "Oh, you just best mates with David Unsworth." We never spoke to David Unsworth apart from the conversations that you saw. We just backed him as long as he was the manager because we wanted to back the board and we wanted to create a united fan base behind the club to try and get behind the team. We're not at that point again. We're still divisive. People are still all over the place in terms of like, one side want this, one side want that, blah, blah, blah. It's just, what do you do? There's no one's right or wrong necessarily. It's just, we are where we are. It's
really hard. Like, just put a few messages up there. If we get rid of Mellon, who comes in, or some people are saying, get rid of him, we want him to resign. We want people to come in and do whatever. It's really difficult, isn't it? It's really tough. It's really, really tough. I don't know what the answer is, but it's really, really difficult. I just don't know what the answer is.
Okay, well, thanks for that, Dave. If you've got any questions for Dave, don't bother because he doesn't know what the answers are.
I really hope that Mike Fundop stays, but I can understand why they've done it how it is. So hopefully one of two can stay put and then we can add to the squad. But it's time for the club to come out and say something because the longer this goes, we don't know what direction we're going in, guys.
What do you want them to say, though, Wibby?
I want them to come out with a statement to say they are genuinely sorry for the mistakes they've done, which mistakes have happened, and we are absolutely upset that we didn't make the playoffs. And with them saying also that promotion is number one aim, and they need to tell us whether Mickey Mellon is staying or going, and what are these nonsense that is coming out with, that there's problems inside the club. Whatever it is, they need to resolve it, because I don't want this to drag into next season, because look, guys, we've missed the playoffs and we're heartbroken, every single one of us.
What you have to remember is it impacts us all emotionally, and it impacts us all in our decision making about going to the games and things like that. Well, some of us, but like it actually affects the pockets of the Rothwell family not getting promoted this season. So if anyone's going to be, upset about it and hurting about it, it's going to be them and the people that are responsible for spending their money. It's not a joke. It's not something that people, don't take seriously. So I'm sure they are. I'm sure they are very, very disappointed. I'm sure that they really, they went for it this season apparently, and they didn't get it right, or something went wrong, and it's a shame. Yeah. But I think this point here from Eddie, you need a team, not a bunch of individuals. You don't just build a winning team. It doesn't just. In fact, what you do, you have to build it. It doesn't just. You don't just. It doesn't just come together like that. You know what I mean? Like me and Dave can just drop a rap like that and just make it look smooth. But it takes time, doesn't it, to build up that kind of competence and synergy, right? But like, it takes time to gel a bunch of individuals into a team, and that's why teams don't just bounce back up. Now, could that have been done better over the last 2 years? Of course it could. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that things couldn't have been done better. They absolutely could. But unfortunately, that's just because we want that to happen doesn't mean that's going to be the case. And it doesn't automatically mean that we should be pointing fingers and getting annoyed and angry with people because they've not been able to deliver. That's pretty much always my point. And I think that the crowd against the crowd against Wealdstone, guys, people just couldn't be asked. It's been a long, disappointing, frustrating season. I don't think it was particularly a message to anyone about anything specific. I think it was just people just like, I can't be asked.
I don't know. I think the last few.
Well, why didn't you go?
Because I didn't want to. I couldn't be bothered, but I couldn't be asked watching that.
Right, but was it a message to anybody?
No, it wasn't a message, but he's saying it clearly. It maybe is it a message to the Rothwells? It's a question, but Rothwells. But I couldn't be watching the football. It was that bad.
Yeah.
It's been that bad. Like the Rochdale game, a derby game, and it was just so poor. There was no hard tackles. There was nobody up for it. We just limped out of that game like a flaccid member. It was so poor. There was nothing good to show. Bromley at home again. Chesterfield is the only game that we all got up for it, and then we still, didn't win. Do you know what I mean? And again, Chesterfield are a very good side, but just showed nothing. We haven't showed anything for the last since the end of Feb.
I just want to comment on this from Matty, OAFC. I think who thinks that the return list is a disgrace and won't help us shift early bird tickets, who's staying and who's going. I presume you mean the actual announcement of it. But I mean, what I gather from that, and I assume this, is that every single player that's out of contract is being released, and those who are in contract are staying. All the loans have gone back, so it's left us with 19 professionals, the people that are on contracts still. So
sorry.
So that's the assumption that none of the people and I think that's the right thing to do. I think you've got to draw a line under. The people that have moved on now. The contracts are expired, because automatically it frees up a load of space in the squad. The players like Shelton, Nuttall, Willoughby, who've all been out on loan, Dickinson.
Alex Reed's gone.
Alex Reed, the next thing to do is to get them off to other clubs where they're going to get to play the football, because the players' best interests are really important in this as well. Nobody wants a player to be sat doing nothing for a year, so they've got to do something with those, and then they've got to look at bringing players in. I don't think to be honest with you, I think that on the return list, not return list, but the players that now got under contracts, I think there's enough good players in that team if we add the right players to play the right positions, that will do okay.
Well, it's like, is there anyone in the, obviously you mentioned Fondopper, but there's like, Hallam Hope, we sad to see him go, Dan Gardner, Divine Green, Harrison McGahey, Ben Tollett. We sad to see them guys go.
I'm sorry to see Mike Fondup and Dan Gardner go, but hopefully, I hope that the club reconsider and keep them two players, and the rest can bugger off. If you ask me.
Yeah, well, look, I think I don't think there's a lot of those players have been here for a while as well, so they've had a chance, and you know, get them. We've seen a lot of this, but like get them all gone. You just can't. It's just not possible. Like you can't. I mean, we've had it on before under Corney, where Andy mentioned it when we had Steve Robinson and he had 6 professionals at the start of the season. You know, that's no good either. So you've got the contracted players, but a handful of them are
they're
going
out
to
of
go.
contract though, aren't they? What I'm concerned about is that message. We're making a massive assumption that all them people out of contract are going. We're not saying they've been offered new terms.
No, well,
and is it? Do you think it's them not being as transparent as when I say them, the board not being as transparent as they could be, which again is manifesting this frustration with the fans? Because I've seen a lot of people on Twitter today saying, "What is going on?" Because it seems like it, and I'm going to mention the BO word, but it's like a very sort of riddled message that was sent out. Do you not think?
Well, I think what it says is these are the players that are out of contract. These are the players that are in contract, and then it said we'd like to wish all the players the best of luck, which I assume meant that all the ones that were out of contract were leaving. It wasn't well written in that sense. I agree. It was ambiguous, and I don't think that is particularly useful that something is released ambiguously like that. Ibi, what's your thoughts for next season, mate? What do you think's going to happen?
We have to go for promotion. Hopefully, win the league. That must be our target because the big teams have left, like Chesterfield. It will be difficult, but let's hope the club puts things right. We've missed out. We will have to accept it, move on, and look forward to the summer. And when are you guys back? Hopefully, or doing phone in July time?
I don't know yet. Let's finish this season first, mate.
It'll be just before the season starts, I should imagine. It depends, you know what it's like. It's Latics. If anything happens that needs a phone in, and then we will. But we need a break after this season. It's been long, hard. It's been hard
horrendous.
work, like
horrendous.
You know, getting the energy to come and talk about the same old shite every week. You know.
Thanks, guys, for having me on, and I wish you all the best, and hopefully see you again on the phone in.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Ibi.
Take care. Have a good
Thanks
summer.
a lot, Dave. Bye-bye.
Sexy Dave. It's all right.
Yeah, well, that's it. We've got no more callers lined up.
Yeah, so thanks for the one call and the last show of the season. You ungrateful set.
If nobody else calls in, we're going to do the rap again.
and we might do our dance as well.
You've been doing a lot of expressive dance lately, haven't you?
And mime.
Yeah, and mime. Mm-hmm. That theatre group. What's that dance group you call? Rainbow Rhythms, was it? Yeah, nice. Yeah. So, Dave, are you confident then that Mickey Mellon can turn it around with bringing in the types of player? Because I think Mellon is the kind of man who requires a certain type of player for things to work. I think if he's got a squad, and I suggest that maybe at Dundee or whatever, I think this is why he needs to recruit his own players.
You put the link in the chat.
Let me have to. Oh no, he means the link for the thing.
Oh,
so that we don't do the rap again is what he means.
Yeah. God no, let me have the link.
But I think he really needs the type of players that are going to respond to him. You know, he requires a certain type of player. So give him the chance to bring in a good cohort of players that match his requirements. Do you think that he can get us in the top? I'm going to. If he said about us winning the league, I'm going to say that a top 6 finish next season is enough getting into the playoffs. I don't think we need to necessarily win the league.
Do you want my honest opinion?
I do.
I think he'll be gone by October.
Why?
I just don't. I think this is going to. This end of season form is going to carry on into next season, and it's going to hang over. We're on about. There's this rumor about David Worrell. Christ, I hope it's not true. I don't think we'll have the budget to get the big players. I don't think we'll have the. We've had 2 seasons of it now. Unless we lose Norwood, which potentially could be the issue. I think if we get money offered for Norwood, I think he'll go, and that's your strike force gone because we'll have Willoughby. Reed's not going to play again. Fondop potentially is gone. I don't think he'll be in it. I think he'll resign. I think he'll resign by October. I don't think his tactics is setting up to draw games or just win by 1-0. You can't do it, and it's outdated. And I hope I'm really wrong, and I hope the success comes to the club. But I can't see us changing it. The last 13 games where he's tinkered and changed it, we've all reverted to long ball. Now I'm sorry, but that's not down on the players. That's down to the tactics of the management trying not to lose games. You've got to go and win games. I mean, when you try and lose a game, you've got the chance of getting a draw, but we showed nothing up front to get or any creativity to win the game. I don't think he's cut out for it. I think he's too far gone. I think he's a bit shez, and I said that from the start before I wasn't keen on Mellon being appointed because of that reason. But I hope I'm wrong. But I don't think it'll work out next season. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So Danny, let's bring in Danny. Danny,
Right,
yeah, you.
Yeah. Have a morning on the football phoning.
I'm not really to moan now. I've done my moaning on social media. I was blowing my top towards the end of the season. I just didn't. I really didn't know what was going on. I don't think the players knew what was going on because, to be quite frank, I don't think they give a shit, to be honest. I think they've come here, they've seen the older players, Norwood, etc., Raglan, have come here thinking, you know what, I'm at the end of my career, I'm not going to make it anymore in Leagues 1, League 2. We'll go Oldham for a payday and take the piss a bit, really. It's like me going in work thinking, oh, I'm getting paid this week, I'm not going to put in the effort. Do you know what I mean? You shouldn't do that, but this group of players have a fair whack of them have. For players that have been frozen out, do you really think they're bothered? Shelton is picking up whatever he's picking up. He's not asked, is he? He'll never get back in that team again, but he's just sat there on a wage now. Some of them just don't care at all.
I think you'll see with if people stay, I think players that want to play will go somewhere else if they know they're not going to get a game. If we have a lot of players that are just sort of like doing what you said and just here and not taking not playing but taking a wage, I don't think that's a good sign for them as an individual. I think footballers, it's a very short career. You've got to get out there and play. So I'm hoping that anyone who is not going to be in the team is going to move on, but I don't know. It's a difficult one because the manager it's up to the manager to motivate the players to play. And well, part of it is up to the manager to motivate the players to play. The majority of it is on themselves as professionals.
Do you know what though, Matt? Them players shouldn't need motivating to play. They're at one of the biggest clubs in the National League.
Yeah,
one of. And to be in that position where they've got a full-time job playing football, it's every young lad's dream. Do you know what I mean? They should be proud to play, and they don't give a damn. To be honest, I've totally lost my head with 99% of them players. They're worse than the players that went down to League 2. They don't show anything. There's no passion. Them League 2 players showing a lot more fight than these clowns we've got now.
Where do you think that's coming
Gardner,
from, Danny?
Hudson, they're the only
they're just
three.
over-pampered. They're over-pampered, spoiled, and they've been on the deck chairs for the last 2 seasons. You know, some of them. The only one who showed a bit of guile and a bit about them was Dan Gardner in those last few games because he really turned it on. But again, as Andy said on the pod,
3 players that care. There's Fondop, Gardner, Hudson, and the rest of them are just on holiday, I reckon.
I think Gardner was playing for a contract.
Yeah.
I agree. Is giving his all. I think Raglan has. I think Hobson has played well. You know, he's had a few bad games, but you're allowed to have a bad game. But Hobson always puts a shift in. I don't agree that. Who did you say, mate? Hudson, Gardner, and who? Sorry, mate.
Fondop.
Yeah, Fondop. Well, yeah, it goes without saying. But I just think Gardner was only doing it to get a new contract. If I'm honest with you, because he was on. He knew that.
Yeah, because he was injured for 20 games a season. One of him towards the end of the season, he was playing every match as much as he can. So yeah, possibly right there, Dave. Yeah,
I think Andy made a very valid point on that. But I just hope people say Hallam Hope always tries, but yeah, he was a busy fool, weren't he? He never.
Yeah, but
Apart
with
from
Hallam
a few
Hope,
goals.
I could try on a football pitch. I'm 7 stone overweight, but I'll try and I'll give it 110% for my team because I love them. Where, do you know what I mean? Trying and giving 100% doesn't really make you cut the mustard and
So
be a professional footballer.
I think it's going to go next season. I don't think it's going to work out under Mellon. What do you think?
Sorry?
With under Mellon, what do you think? Do you think how it'll go next season? Do you think it'll work out if he gets the right signings, or do you think?
Well, his right signings, he threw him under the bus afterwards, didn't he? Sai, Walker, and who was the other one he threw under the bus? Hammond. What's the little ginger kid called?
Yeah,
Hammond,
Hammond,
Yeah, and he just tossed him to one side. I just think, what are you playing at, mate? That Hammond is a young, energetic lad, and he's like, the team's too old. Yeah, he's got young players, and he's not asked. He's just gone. See you later, mate.
I feel sorry for him because I thought he did really well. You know, I think he showed a lot of promise.
He couldn't pass. He couldn't pass, could he? And he couldn't chop a bag of cement. But
Against Woking when he came on and we were 1-0 down, and then he didn't track back and he got absolutely lambasted. I stuck up for him. After that, I thought he had a cracking at Kidderminster. We played shit as a whole team, but he came on and showed a bit of guile and a bit of energy. Maidenhead, he was fantastic. I really like the kid, mate. I think he's got a lot of promise.
He has.
A sellable asset as well.
Yeah.
People need games though as well. People need consistency. They need to play regularly together, and as you know, in order to build the team that Eddie was, referring to earlier on, that's really important. I think. I
don't think Mellon knows his team, does it?
Too much tinkering, yeah.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of teams to do it now, Danny, don't they? It's always the same. Kewell did it all the time. Unsworth did it all the time. It's chopping and changing.
At least under Kewell, we attacked, didn't we? Straight from the get-go. If they scored 3, we'd go and score 4 with Kewell.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? He wasn't asked. He was just like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we finished 19th, didn't we? We had one of the worst defenses in the league. So you've got to have the balance of look. I think at the end of the day, you want to have a goal. Like Dave said before, we in that 13 games where we won 1, we only needed to win 2 or 3 of them, and we'd have finished in the playoffs, and we didn't, and that is not good enough. You've got to go out to win games, and we didn't look like we were capable or we wanted to. It was weird.
When I started falling out with them, that group of players was Aldershot away when we lost 2-0. It was a massive game. Everyone was pumped. The ground was rocking. We drove down there, got there thinking, yes, this is it now. We're going to make a serious stamp on this. And since Aldershot away, we was just like, well, I can't say it on air because there's kids watching and that, but it was just, it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
There's been a number of games, hasn't there? For me, the Kidderminster game at home was the
Walking
Frank,
at home.
Frank coming back.
Ebbsfleet at home.
Yeah.
Sugar, man.
Dire performances, aren't
Did we even win a game since Frank got back? We won Dorking, didn't we? But did we win a game since Dorking, since Frank was back at home?
No, because it was the Kidderminster game. Was that the end of February? We haven't won since, have we?
Yeah.
I don't think we've won since Frank got back. No, so it's obviously Frank's fault. So that's we've cleared it up. We've cleared it up there now. Yeah.
Well, thanks for the call, Danny, mate.
Yeah, just one thing before I go. Pete and Pauline Fielding. Pete's had head surgery today, so I hope he's all right. I hope he gets better soon.
Well, get well soon, Pete. For us at the phone
all the best from everybody, Pete.
I hope he's all right after the rap that we did.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks for your time and effort this season, lads.
Thanks for calling in, Danny.
Well, if you want to buy us a coffee, mate, you know the link. So yeah, no, appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, Danny.
Cheers, pal. Thank you.
All right, chaps.
Take care, mate.
Bye-bye.
Oh, we've got quite a few people lined up now, so we'll have to skip through them.
But we should try Robin. Robin.
Hi, guys.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Mellon's press conference at the end of the season, and I just thought the thing he said to the who's the reporter?
To Alan, the media
Jones.
guy.
To Alan, when he said it was lazy journalism. Honestly, that was the question that everybody wanted the answer to. I know you mentioned it in the podcast on the weekend, but we were third. We were up there in February, and he's turning around and saying that when he arrived, he knew that he didn't have the players. So how did he get him to third? And then what happened? What happened? Like you said, what happened after February, apart from Frank coming back?
Yeah, the thing is, Alan's not a journalist. First of all, he's the head of media at Latics, so there's a distinct difference there. And he described it as he asked about the collapse at the end of the season, and I think that was a really, really fair comment, because when you thought he's saying, well, they didn't beat us, I was like, come on, Mickey. No, you said you were at the beginning of the interview you weren't going to make excuses, and this is rapidly turned into an excuse fest. So I think you bang on. I think it was very disappointing, but it wasn't the first one, Robin, was it? It wasn't the first sort of interview that he's done, which had a lack of sort of inspiration about it.
Can I say he bottled the question like he bottled the season, and it just showed for me the sort of character he is. And if you're a player watching that and you're playing for him, what would you do?
Yeah, exactly. I can't see what. I mean, he's saying that he hasn't got the money for any new players, and he's throwing every single one of them under the bus.
But he doesn't make excuses. Just want to be clear on that.
Yeah, I think David Unsworth came in for a lot of stick for what he said in his interviews. He got off the fans, and if you'd have done a deep fake on the internet there and switched Unsworth for Mellon, you can imagine the response that he would have got, the kind of comments that he would have got. Now, I'm not suggesting that we go all in on Mickey Mellon. We're just sort of calling it out for what it was, really, which was, a contradiction, very uninspiring. He seemed he has seemed very, very deflated and lacking a spark and a leadership quality going into the playoffs, and that is a concern. It's we're not making it up. We can see it. It's all there.
Well, everyone can see it, and everyone's challenging it, and no one seems to be saying or doing anything about it. And when Alan did try and challenge him on it, he said it was lazy journalism. So for me,
it was a really odd response to it. Just one other thing about what he said about the players when he first arrived. Hasn't he got some sort of responsibility to improve any of them? Because he seemed to 100%. Just ignore that part of his job. That, as the manager or the trainer, he's got some responsibility to bring them on. You can't just say that's the players I've got and they're all rubbish. I'm not going to be, because it's totally uninspiring. I mean, I tell you, before, we've got a little group in France. Our group in France are just absolutely desperate for next season now. It's almost a write-off already, which is insane. And then you look at the retained list, and you look at poor Mike Fondop, score 2 goals. That's not quite good enough for you to. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. And dodging that question about what's happened since February, I think he's wrong. But Dave, you said something before. You said about his age and about his style of management. I wonder if the modern footballer with access to social media and stuff is a little bit out of his wheelhouse sort of thing, and he doesn't really know how to deal with it.
Can I just say that Mickey Mellon's he's only 51-year-old. He's not an old man.
Oh, the old man.
I'm just saying, so I don't think it's to do with his age. I mean, he's only 5 years older than me. You know what I mean?
But Dave was mentioning his style rather. I didn't mean his age.
Yeah. He's from like an old school. He's more of an old school, isn't he? I think is rather than his actual age, which his age has got nothing to do with it. But he's kind of like, maybe his philosophy and his style is of a certain sort of era, I think, is the suggestion.
Yeah, and if you can't, I don't know, manage the sort of situation that he's had with Alex Reid, that's caused problems throughout the team, apparently.
It's double standards, isn't it? Because Harrison McGay was suspended. He was allowed to be brought back in. Reid's not. Now, I don't know what's going on, but from the outside, that's double standards to me, unless he's a real problem.
Well, the thing,
obviously, you don't know what may. You can't say to us, might have apologised, and
when you don't know the full extent of like what's been, But I think the thing is that what Mellon needs from his professionals is not to cause any issues like that in the first place. First and foremost, so you've got to put that on the players. Being a social media personality is secondary to the people that are paying you wages to be a footballer.
Yeah.
So that's what you've got to get on with. There's a whole thing. We talked to lots of, we talked to Shez,
but you don't in a local derby. You don't play one up front, do you? Do you know what I mean? When you've got no other available striker. Now, for me, you've got to put that stubbornness to one side. I would have, knowing that it's a derby, it's a must-win game to get in the playoffs. Which was his task when he came in, to get into the playoffs.
Yeah,
that was his remit.
And we were there. We were there.
Exactly. We were there, yeah. But for me, if I thought, you know what, I've got to get in the place, but I've only got Norwood up front against Rochdale. All right, Reed's not been in for a bit. I put him on the bloody bench. Wouldn't you?
Look what he did in February when he dropped Garner and Fonda, who were on a roll. They were doing the business. And just trying to shoe up. I mean, it's a top scorer, and you've got to bring Norwood in. I understand it, but it just didn't work for us. And to be a bit stubborn and not say, right, okay, that's not work. Let's bring these guys back in. The social media thing is difficult because, as Matt said, we don't know what's gone behind the scenes. Harrison might have apologised. Reed might have been stubborn and said no, say I'm not doing it. But they've got to set some sort of policy within the club to say what they can and can't say on social media. I'm sure they do it at the bigger clubs.
But I mean, I think as well, you've got people have got to be, Alex Reed's not, for example, he's not 18, 19-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a grown man, and the responsibility lies with the grown men. That part of, the social media has been around for the whole time that they've been playing football, so they know what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. So I think that having any kind of an issue like this really shouldn't be happening. But I know it's not the most important thing ultimately. The thing is that whatever's going on, and it seems to me, if you look back over Mickey Mellon's interviews, his energy, his motivation, his enthusiasm, everything has just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. And that's a concern because it's his job to lead the team and everybody, because he's the focal point of the football club. He's the leader. He's that key position. It's up to him to inspire everyone. There's been some good points. I mean, I'm going to buy a season ticket anyway, but there's been the points that people are saying, look, I'm not inspired. I'm not going to buy a season ticket, and that has an impact on the commercial viability of the club for next season. So I wonder what kind of conversations are going on between the board and the manager and all that.
Well, if the season tickets severely drop, then what do you do as the board? Because you do look at the reasons as to why. It can't be just because you're the last 13 games, but then might be someone saying, they did it with Ronnie Moore. Carney did it with Ronnie Moore because of his football. It was poor, To
be fair, it's not the 13 games. It's what he said at the end of the season. He told us basically, we're going to struggle next season. It's what he said in that. I'm not reading too far between the lines. He said we haven't got the money and I haven't got the players. None of them are good enough.
Yeah, we've been asked here if we have any plans to speak to Mellon and Royal and stuff for the pod. We do. We didn't push speaking to Mickey Mellon since he's come in. To be honest with you, we just kind of wanted to just let him get on with it. But we really want to speak to him in the close season and the build up to next season, and the thing is though, they've got to be prepared, and Mickey Mellon's got to be prepared to answer questions. It's not lazy journalism.
It's a genuine question that we want the answers to.
Because Alan gets absolute pelters from fans when he asks safe questions, and then when he asks a question that is a little bit the type of question that fans want to hear, he gets a bit of stick off Mickey Mellon. So it's all about being authentic. It's all about being honest and open, and not being guarded and not thinking that you're going to say the wrong thing. Just be honest. Let's have an honest conversation. We understand that there are challenges. Reasonable fans, reasonable people understand that there are challenges. That putting together a successful, potentially title-winning football team in this division is just as hard as in any other division. It's really, really hard. So, if you do things with the right way, with the right intentions and the right integrity and the right attitude, people will generally get behind you. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm looking forward to hopefully having a chat and talking about what the last couple of years has been like for Darren and for the board and stuff like that, what they've learned, what lessons they've learned, we heard it a lot under Abdallah, we made mistakes without actually saying what any of the mistakes were. Well, I think part of the learning curve and part of the process is being able to talk about what mistakes you made and what you've learned from them and how you're moving forward. So those are the kind of conversations that we want to have ahead of the next season. So you said that there's your French cohort of Latics fans are not particularly inspired by the thought of next season. Where do you stand on it? How are you feeling about next season?
Oh, I'll be following it. I was told you before, my twin goes to every match. I'll be following them just to hear her shouting, really. But Yeah, I'm not very hopeful, but I'm hoping I'm looking forward to your interviews. I want to see what they say, and then listen. I'm going to let you go anyway, guys. Thank you for the season. Thank you to Andy and Princess Finnegan for all her work, because it's she's underrated and doesn't get enough mention. She's brilliant.
Absolutely, no. She works hard on it, and I'm going to buy her.
She gets too many.
I'm going to buy her
me.
a biro.
I'm on
No, yeah. Nice one. Thanks, Robin.
You buy her a biro.
No. Yeah. Let's go
Okay.
north of the border. Oh, he's had a shave again.
Yeah. Hi, guys.
You all right,
Hello.
Graham?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm going to sound controversial here, right? But see how we're in the National League for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't think we're a big club anymore. I mean, not a big club like in the sense it, because I think we died when Adala destroyed us and Frank's rebuilding us from the ground up. So like a phoenix rising. So I think that we were taking liberties saying we're like, because everybody else in the division's mostly established. So we're like playing 5 years behind basically to catch up.
I don't think that's controversial. I agree. I think that it's a long time since we were in the Premier League. It's a long time since we were in the Championship. You know, we were a very, very average League One club for a long, long time. We're not. The thing is with Latties, there's a lot of potential, and you know, there's a good crowd potential for fan base. We'll see next season just how sustainable that is, because I think that the crowds are going to drop next season, and you know, you're absolutely spot on. We're at this level. We're at the level we deserve to be, with other clubs who deserve to be at that level, and that means clubs like Dorking, who are 25 years old. And this is the highest they've ever been. And it's for clubs like Oldham and Southend who have dropped right down. And we are where we deserve to be. We're no better than any other club in this division. We have no divine right to win the league. We are where we are, and we have to work as hard, if not harder, than every other club in this division to get out of it. So I agree with you. I mean, some people might think it's controversial, but I don't.
I think we're still a big club in this division.
Oh, yeah, we are a big club in this division.
No, I think we're a big club, but what I mean is we're not in this division, because like there's other people round about us that's been here for 14, 15 years who are more like, look at Chesterfield, they destroyed it.
But it took them a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not the best. We're one of the biggest clubs in this division, but we're not automatically one of the best because of our size. That's the thing. Being a big club doesn't make you one of the best clubs. Look at United. For example, they're one of the biggest clubs, but not the best.
Don't mention that name.
But you know, we're not, and just because you're the biggest club in the division doesn't give you the divine right to be the best.
Yeah. But I think Mellon should get like at least 2 more transfer windows, because like I say, you said on your pod a couple of days ago, did you not say he only brought in about 7 players of his own? The rest were Unsworth's.
That's right. Yeah, 3 loan players and 4 signings. Conlon, Langley, the goalkeeper who we haven't seen, who's been out on loan. Ollie Hammond and
Conlon, Garner.
Yeah, give them 2 transfer windows and
Walker, Dallas.
Responsible. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've not been inspired by his signings, apart from.
No, I've not been either. But like,
Josh Stone,
fired managers every 5 minutes. I mean, who we lost? We lost Unsworth, and then we sacked what's it called? Thompson, was it?
Well, it was interim. I think he ended up leaving.
Yeah, but we're still having to pay his wages as well, probably, because he still has a contract with the club, doesn't he?
No, he resigned. Steve Thompson resigned.
Oh, did he? Okay, so we don't pay him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But like, I mean, 10th is not greatest, but I mean, at least we weren't pulled into a relegation battle like when we went on the 13-match slump.
For the budget we've had, Graham, it's been absolutely bobbins.
I watched 10 minutes of the Wiltstone game, and I had to like, I was switching it on, switching it off, switching it on, switching it off, and I just came out at the end. He says that we were tired. I'm like, you've got the biggest squad in the division.
Absolute.
Put players on that have not been playing much. We've nothing to play for. We've not got the playoffs. Play players that he's never played the rest of the season, because they'll be fit, they'll be healthy. I mean, if they're tired, don't play them.
Yeah,
well, exactly. He's got 32 flipping players at his disposal.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It was a nothing game anyway. He could have played all the youth players, but then he comes out and says, "Oh well, we're tired." A bad workman blames his tools. I'm sorry,
I don't think calling the players tools is.
Well, some of them clearly are tools, because they are that bad. You know what I mean? Everyone, you know, Norwood's skulking about and sulking and throwing his arms and flailing about.
Then I would have dropped him for 2 games. Throw him off the pitch put on like, see Alex Reid, right? Alex Reid done wrong, right, and he got punished for it, right? But no, I would just say to Reid, you're under contract, even if you're not my favourite person in the world, right? Because like Scotland had Colin Hendry, right, and Craig Brown was the manager. Craig Brown hated Colin Hendry, they hated each other, but he was the first name on the team sheet because he was dependable. Alex Reid should have been told, you've got a contract, you're there to the end of the season, I'm going to put you on the bench, you do your job, you don't have to talk to me, you do your job.
Well, he's training, he's there, he's asking
Yeah.
to play, and he's not even getting acknowledged by the manager, allegedly. So I don't think Reid's in the wrong. I think it's a stubbornness of the manager,
That's what I'm
personally.
saying. I mean,
And I think, and I said to you, mate, yeah, you're quite right, Graham. He's got a job to do. He's paid to do a job. Put him on the bench. Irregardless, he's obviously had an effect on the team. So something's gone seriously wrong in that dressing room, and nobody will come out and say what it is. But get it all and Reid, I don't think it's just that. There's something in either the management style, the communication, because that's what it's about, management. It's communication, isn't it? You've got to communicate your tactics. You've got to be a man manager. But then players are not playing for the manager. The last 13 games have shown that. And you can't go from third and drop out because of it's bad tactics, bad formation, bad performances, and it all stems from players and manager. Now, the players are being affected by the manager's probably being affected by the players. Yeah. But what it is, nobody can put the finger on it, and it's crap. It's absolutely crap. It's not, and this is why we're all frustrated and we're all angry about it, and this is why we're losing faith in the management team and we're losing faith in the players. Now, fair enough, all these players are now, bulk of them are going to be going, but there's still going to be a few there. But if he gets these enough signings like he's done, like he's got Conlon, not very good. Hammond, I like him. I think he's decent. You know, Dallas did nothing. Sachev, he's a right back, but I can't play him because he's a right wing back. But he played him and then didn't play him. Sending
that
signals.
Me as well.
You know what I mean? Who else? Walker. He's not ready for first team football. Why sign him then? Why sign him? You know what I mean? It's like, well, what are you going to do? Sign him and put him in the reserves? Do you know?
Might as well bring youth players.
And then I would keep Gardner for next year, but no, I would do him. I wouldn't give him a full contract. I would go to him and say, Dan Gardner, I would say, pay as you play.
Yeah, they might do something like that with him, but maybe you can get a deal somewhere else, which would be better for him, you know. But look, I think we've got to draw a line under a lot of these players now. It's time to move on. The problem I have is, and the thing with all this is, a manager needs to build, like I said before, his own squad of players that work in a system that he wants to play, a way that he wants to play, and drill them and get them in to play the right way. If we keep chopping and changing, you end up with what we've got now, which is players signed from Keith Curl, players signed by John Sheridan, players signed by David Unsworth, players signed by Mickey Mellon, and it's all over the show.
We just need a manager to be honest rather than making flipping excuses, because again, it's just be honest.
Yeah.
Like Jez was always honest, and he always told it as it was. I can't find anyone.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be this and that, and then he makes excuses.
Well, it's.
I listened to that 15 minutes of dribble. I was like, wow. I want to back him right, and I want him to stay right, because, like I say, I don't believe in firing a manager every 5 minutes. But I mean, when I've listened to that 15 minutes, I was thinking to myself, wow.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
You're not wrong, mate. Listen, Graham, we're going to move on. We've got a couple of callers.
Thanks for your calls this season, mate.
Great podcast, great everything.
Thanks for supporting the show, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Have a good time.
Bye now. Sorry, I ate it a bit quicker than I meant to then. Should we bring in one of the fans of the season?
Mellon's number one fan.
He should have his own statue outside Boundary Park, jumping off a coffin. Ben Man.
Hiya, lad, you all right?
Yeah, you?
Yeah, good, cheers, lads, yeah. What are you going
to do with your Saturdays now for the whole summer?
Well, apart from the football, just get pissed.
Sorted. Easy enough. You might have had a summer schedule. Well, you have, obviously.
Well, that's all I do anyway. But yeah, lads. Mellon gets the full season for me next year. Absolutely. He needs pre-season. He needs his own players. And he clearly wants rid of them, most of them, don't he? By that statement today. Whether they all go, I don't know. But clearly he does. We need to give him next season, lads. It's as simple as that. He needs to get the full season. He needs his own pre-season. And he needs a full year. It's as simple as that.
I don't disagree that's what a manager needs. He needs time. He needs to get his own players in. Can you? Are you on it? Are you listening to that? Can you put it through headphones or something? Because I can hear myself coming through.
Say that again, sorry.
Did you put some headphones in or something?
Yeah, I can do. Yeah, you give me a couple of minutes.
Yeah. We'll talk to Dazzler in there because it's echoing. Oof.
Yeah, no worries.
You all right, mate?
How do?
You all right?
Yeah, not very bad. Right, listen.
How are you
What are you
feeling?
laughing at now?
Because you're always like dead happy, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I'm fucking pissed off with this season. Really, I'm pissed off with it. I don't get right. I don't want to talk about the season. A couple of things I won't point out about Saturday's game. We were 1-0 up, looking comfortable, to be fair. And then, for no apparent reason that I can see, he puts Fond up left midfield. What was all that about? And after that, we never won a header up front. We didn't win any balls up front because he weren't there winning them. Can you explain why he did that? Because I haven't got a clue.
I can't comment on it because I wasn't paying anywhere near enough attention to the game to even notice, to be honest with you. It was a very strange experience being there. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know if he did or not, to be honest. I'll have to take your word for it.
It was ridiculous. I was watching it on TV and I thought, what have you done that for? You know, he's winning headers up front. He's putting tackling, winning the ball, holding the ball, passing it out, doing what he normally does. And then, you're doing too well there. Get on left midfield and do a bit of shit.
What are you a keep Fond up or let him go camp?
What? Sorry.
Are you in the Fond up, stay Fond up, go camp?
Can't hear you, mate.
I said, would you like Fond up to stay or go?
I'd like him to stay because the other one of probably 3 players that have pulled the tripes out this season. Every time he plays, he gives you 100%.
I've got a lot of time for him,
and that's all I want.
That's all
I want to see from a player, 100% every time.
I want to see 100% and sort of 7 out of 10 at least every week as well, ideally.
He just gives you his all, and he'll run all day. He won't stop. He'll chase that loose ball. He'll run down defenders, even if you're 3-0 down. He won't stop. Norwood gets a misplaced pass and starts taunting and shoving his arms in the air. It's just the wrong sort of attitude. No matter how good you are, do you know what I mean? Ronaldo used to do it, and even United got sick of him and flipped him off. Do you know what I mean? It's just not. It's not what Oldham fans want. I don't think.
No.
But
Oldham fans want to see players like Fond up.
But if you listen to Mickey Mellon, he talks a lot about, and he has done over since he's come in, about the team need to represent the town. You know, hardworking people and all that, honest people. We've got to work hard, and I think he's frustrated with the work rate of a lot of the players himself. You know, there's been comments on social media and stuff like Mellon hates this bunch of players as much as we do. That's been a common kind of thing, and I think he has been very disappointed maybe with the attitude and stuff like that, and he's not had a pre-season with them. So we just have to hope, don't we, that he's got a plan for next season and that he's going to deliver it and it's going to work. That's all we can do. As fans, is just hope that that's the case and get behind the team and the manager. You know, let's not assume it's all going to be a disaster before we've signed it or kicked a ball.
It's tough.
I just seen that comment then about he did it because Conlon was getting rinsed at left back,
wing, yeah.
Whatever, left wing, right? Well, the answer to that is take Conlon off and put somebody else on and can do it there. I.e. Hammond.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Actually, that's a really good point. Yeah,
I just he's fucking. They've been shit for a while, and that's why we've not won games.
Yeah, agreed. I totally agree. Ran out of ideas. The
only game that he really, the Boreham Wood game at home, wasn't it? When he really changed it and it tactically at half time and we were losing and it worked. Yeah. Apart from that, we've not really seen him do anything particularly inspiring that's changed the game.
Probably all the time.
Yeah.
Probably. And when he speaks, he's not inspiring. You know, every week it's same old. There's a lot of work to be done here. You want to play for a big club like Oldham, should be proud with a lot of work to be done here.
Mm.
Change the fucking record, will you? Honestly,
to what?
Unfortunately, we've got him for at least another 2 years.
Well, I don't know about that. I think, I mean, if next season's a massive failure, I don't think they'd keep him. But I finish outside the playoffs next season. We've got to finish in the playoffs next season. There's no doubt about that.
Well, with who? With which players, mate?
Well, with the new players, with the players we've got and the new players that you bring in, I mean, you have to remember is that in order to create an effective team, you need some consistency, and there are decent players within the return list.
Do you think we can really afford to bring new players in?
Well, we're going to have to because we've only got 19 at the minute, so we're going to have to bring some players in. And we're not paying the wages of all the players that have gone. So yeah, it's up to the club. They've got to sort it out.
It's going to be a difficult.
I mean, there was talk of that David Worrell coming back.
Yeah, where's that coming from?
I hope not. I hope not.
Another
33-year-old has been.
I think we've got to really remember we've got to feel for the board because actually this summer's I think it's going to be one of the most difficult summers we've had.
Yeah,
because we're going to have expectations of playoffs setting them so high. But I think there's going to be more to go. I think if money comes in for Norwood, they'll accept it and he'll go to fund this season because you've got to balance the books somehow, haven't you?
Yeah.
Hopefully there's some money for Reed. What gets me with Reed is if you'd have played him for the last 5 games when it's a shit or bust and we have to win them and he scores 4 goals in 5, all right, he gets us to the playoffs and then he does it as a good playoff. So he might not want him then. He could have gone in the summer.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's just this pig-headed stubbornness because he's put a video on about Christmas Day. And it's winding me up because we should be in the playoffs, but it's just that to get off. You know what I mean? It just winds me up, but it's not hard, is it?
Well, obviously,
it's not hard.
It's not hard. It's common sense. This real football people know. I know what good looks like. Well, I'm sorry, mate. Not for me, you don't. I think I just need a rest for the summer because I'm getting pissed off.
Looking forward to your first interview with him next season.
Yeah,
Dave.
what does he mean? I know what good looks like, and he brings Conlon in Dallas, who've been absolute shite.
On paper, but
they're good.
Oh, balls to paper.
I know, but I mean, fans are saying, "Oh, these are good signings," and Conlon's got the pedigree. Conlon has got the pedigree, but I think he's, I don't know.
Yeah, but come on, what's he done?
Well, it's all behind us now. We've got to look forward to next season, and we've got to hope that next season that they all have better seasons.
Well, I hope we can change the tune next season because if they carry on like they were this season, we're going to be struggling again.
Yeah,
they've got to buy decent. Do you know what I'd do? I'd bloody promote some of the youth.
But it's only worth doing that if they're good enough.
Sorry?
It's only worth doing that if they're good enough.
Yeah, well, we've got some good enough players in youth to do that. Maybe bring 2 of them
in. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you get a bit of experience, you buy a bit of experience, you get youth in. What does every manager say they need in a football team?
Oh yeah, you need
a bit of youth and a bit of experience.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of experience in that squad now. You would have said, wouldn't you, with the likes of Hogan and Norwood and Conlon, Garner, all experienced players.
You wouldn't think so after this season.
Yeah, well,
it's just been totally just since February.
Rob's right. We do need pace. We definitely need pace. A lot more pace in that team. Yeah. It's been massively lacking.
To be honest, I'd let Devine Green go.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Allegedly.
Has he gone? Right. Because he's got pace, but that's about it.
Yeah, agreed. Like Dylan
he doesn't take a player on, and his crosses aren't the best.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you're not consistent enough. Not consistent enough.
As long as
right, listen, we need to move on to Bin Man now because we've gone past the hour mark.
Cheers, Darryl.
So thanks for getting in touch.
All right, mate. Thanks for all the hard work, guys.
Cheers, mate.
Have a good summer, and we'll see you next season.
Buy us a coffee if you want, mate. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye. Right, let's hope Bin Man's got his headphones in this time.
You all right, lads?
That's better.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, you good?
Right, listen. So you were an advocate of Mickey Mellon. You still are.
Nathan Mellon Price. His name is.
What do you make of the sort of his demeanour and how he's been and all that stuff that we've been talking about. What do you make of that?
Well, for a start, yeah, there's some things that I'd question what he said, 100%, I really would. But I think he just hates some of these players as much as we do. He knows they're not good enough. He knows they're not good enough. And he wants rid. I'm being honest. Probably hates as much as fucking
No,
we
it just
do.
makes me laugh. Like you just put it so simply. He just hates as much as we would. Sorry,
It's true. But he needs pre-season, lads, and next season. He's got pedigree down here, and I'm pretty sure he will deliver. I'm absolutely adamant. I'll keep saying it. He will do it. But he needs to learn as well. It's different from 5 years ago when he was down here. A lot has changed the way teams come. But do you know what? A lot of the reason why we've won 6 home games at home all season, it's been an absolute disgrace. But don't you think some teams are just coming up and just playing like it's their cup final against us because the best side the biggest side in the league and coming to a big stadium?
Let's just say that Kerrs and Ashton go up via the playoffs. Can you imagine the piss boil if we either get beat off them or if we get beat off them home or away? Mate, everyone's going to be playing out the skins against us. It's the biggest. It's going to be the biggest fixture in the calendar, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Big man, you're right though. In the way that like they do raise their game and it is the biggest game in the season. But if you look at any of the biggest clubs in any of the divisions, they have to, that's part of the mentality is that you have to, that's what's going to happen. You know that you have to out battle them and outplay them and do everything right. You have to be absolutely prepared. You have to be ready for it. And we've not done that this season. And that's where, for me, the question mark is on a lot of the players' mentality and ability to cope playing for a club like Oldham in this division. And we need to see, the ones that have been there and done it, play for the likes of Stockport and Port Vale, similar sized clubs in many ways. And it's up to them to deliver.
But do you think Mick Rathbone going was another effect on the team's mentality shift?
100%. When did he leave? Did he leave in February? Was it?
Yeah, end of Feb, just start of Feb, I think. Something like that.
Obviously it's not gone right since, has it? And like I said, Mickey Mellon is to blame for some, a lot of that as well. But Dave, can I ask you something? Would you sack him now?
I won't sack him, no, because we can't afford to. And again, I just think I'd be looking at the season tickets and be saying to him, Mickey, I'd be looking at the season tickets and allegedly they aren't the best, are they?
Well, like you said about Ronnie Moore, we sat Ronnie Moore and then to improve season ticket sales and you need to improve. I'd probably think if you are going to get a season ticket, you're going to get one. If you're not, you're not. So if we were to sack him,
can you blame him in the last 13 games with the long ball and the put? And I know it's down to the tactics there. You can't say, "Oh, the players weren't doing what I was told," because if you're on the board and you're going, "Well, the players aren't fucking listening to him. What's going on?" Do you know what I mean?
You could say that over the last 30 years, or Dave, when we've achieved absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You could, couldn't you? You could go back to far then. Why should we get one when we're not doing anything?
In terms of the ref balls that they put in, and they let him Norwood kick corner flags and get away with murder and sulking on the pitch. Now, Reed's put a video on about him pissing around on Christmas Day. I think that's a lot worse when someone's been that belligerent and that rude and that tantrum when they haven't scored in open play since December. It's not. I mean, you've got strikers like Carner and Fondop scoring goals. He hasn't even got the bollocks to. He dropped it for the last 2 games of the season when we had nothing to play for. Now, what does that show? That shows weakness to me.
It does, and Norwood. Can I ask you something? If Norwood did what Reed did, would we have suspended Norwood?
Actually, saying conjecture, should have, would have, could have, but I don't think they would have. No,
I don't think they would have done. I don't, no. And that's why. But I thought Norwood, the way he's been, I'm 50-50 whether I want him to go or not. But I thought Norwood wouldn't be like this because he's been with Mellon before. He's won 2 promotions with him, and he's idolised him. So I wouldn't think that he won't go against him. But clearly,
he's a fantastic player. He's a fantastic player on his day. But against Chesterfield, he was unplayable. He was unplayable. But we didn't see enough of that towards the end of the season from the final running. Now, with good players, you see that, don't you?
Well,
Yeah,
what they've got to do now is that if James Norwood is staying, they've got to build a team that feeds James Norwood next
Agreed.
season. And that is anything else is just stupid.
I had listened to the
Waste.
podcast this week. Pardon me, guys. I weren't ignoring you on the podcast, but I can't remember if you said you wanted Norwood to stay. But what's your answer to that?
Stay. I see.
Yeah.
It'd be foolhardy to get rid of him.
Right.
But
Yeah,
my thoughts are if you get 300 grand off a buy, I don't know, whoever, you're taking it. I'd be taking it.
Yeah, I think I would, but I'd like the money to go back into the squad.
100%. Yeah, that goes without saying. And I think that's what the Rothwells will do. And there's no concern from that side for me. But if you're getting 300 grand for him, he's got to go.
I think it's been a massive shock to James Norwood's system dropping to this level. Not dropping to this level because he's played lower levels before, but like dropping to this standard of play in this team has been so poor. And I think that frustration has been evident. And I think he's found it hard in some games to maintain his level of enthusiasm and performance and his level head and I don't blame him for that because he's a
professional.
I get that. You have to try and sort of balance the argument out a little bit, don't you? I think next season, Mickey Mellon, like I said, has got to build a team around getting the ball in the box to James Norwood and getting James Norwood in the box on the end of balls that he can put in the back of the net, because we've seen him now close for a season. We know what kind of player he is. There's no point umphing up long balls to him and isolating him up there on his own. We've got to get some width. We've got to get the ball in the box, and we've got to have him picking up the pieces and scraps and getting the ball in.
It's like
you feed him, he gets 25 goals a season.
It's like Garner against Halifax. He showed the impetus, the clever player, getting fouls. Because as soon as he got subbed and Norwood came on, we lost all our attacking threat up front because he weren't interested.
We need him to be interested. You feed him though. You know the guy's on 25 to.
No, but even so, mate. I'm not being funny. If you're paying allegedly £5,000 a week, and you might not be getting the service, you've not had the service all season. You've not had the service. Garner hasn't had the service. Fondup hasn't had the service. But they tried the bollocks off to get the best out of what they can get. You know what I mean? And that's what Garner was doing against Halifax. All right, he didn't come up with a goal. He got a penalty. You know what I mean? Yeah. Fondup got 2 goals against Wilson with no bleeding service. Do you know what I mean? So there's a bit of all this. Well, Norwood's a great player. He doesn't celebrate goals. I love it, me, because he's our best player. He didn't show enough for me in those last 10 games.
No, look, I mean, goals has been a massive issue for this team all season. I think we finished, I think it might have been something like 4, our goal difference was this season.
It's attitude.
Nowhere near enough goals from around the pitch. Defenders not chipping at set pieces. We didn't score anywhere near enough headers and from corners and stuff like that. I didn't score anywhere near enough like dead ball free kicks. Didn't score. Midfielders not chipping in with anywhere near enough goals. Not enough. We had all these strikers at the start of the season. If it wasn't for James Norwood's goals, it would have been a completely different season. So, the goals has been a massive, massive disappointment this season. So next season, it's got to be about scoring a lot of goals. I know it's a very, very basic thing. I'm surprised you're not picking me up on it, Dave. It's but like you've got to score more goals than the opposition.
But we've got no leader, lads. We've got no leaders in that squad.
No.
You look at Hogan. He's captain. He's going to be captain next season. But what if he wants to bring someone else in who's going to captain?
I don't know if Tom Collin was the captain of Port Vale, me.
No, I've never seen enough.
We need to wait and see because we don't know who's going to be signed. First of all, we don't know. He might bring somebody in as his captain. He might have his eye on someone. He might have somebody in mind. We don't know. I think at the end of the day, at the end of the season, there's a lot of frustration within us all. We're all frustrated with the outcome. There's a lot of disappointment. We have to just let the summer. Hopefully, England will do all right in the Euros, and that won't do our heads in as well. But
God.
The
Euro football phone.
Oh, God, no. We've got to just get this out of our system now. Let's all relax. Let's take a break. Let's let the club get on with what they need to do. Let Mellon have an holiday. Let them have an holiday. Let them get themselves together and rebuild. And let's come back to it next season.
James Norwood, if you want to come on our show, you're welcome anytime, mate.
Yeah, he's already on holiday, mate. He's not watching this.
Okay, he's been on holiday since fucking December.
Anyway, Bill, man, you'll be running the Booze Buzzers again next season?
Oh, yeah, we'll be doing, yeah. But again, it's all performance based.
We're going up.
Sorry?
Do you think?
I'll be going up.
What do you think the aim should be next season, man? Should it be to finish in the playoffs? Is it as basic as that?
Top 3.
It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
No, it's
But
top
when
3.
you-
It's as simple as that. And we should be going out winning the league. I'm sorry, that is everyone's aiming. It'll be my aim next season. And if we don't get to,
no, I agree. I think the aim's got to be to win the league, but I mean, obviously, that's very difficult. But yeah, bare minimum is we've got to finish in the playoffs, isn't it?
So who's coming down? Let's have a look at who's coming down.
Forest Green and Sutton coming down, and Southend, I think, will be they'll be in and around it, won't they, next season? I should imagine.
Yeah. But no, this league is shit next season. So simple as that. If we don't achieve promotion, just fold the club. I've done with it.
Right. Well, on that optimistic note,
Colchester could come down.
Colchester's still good. They've got 3 points clear, though, aren't they? Still,
but if they win the last,
but no, in all seriousness, lads, we need to go for it next season. That's as simple as that. And you know what? If like I said to you, get the full season. But if we're like rooted to the bottom, like Dave said in October, and we're absolutely not, then yeah, obviously I would get rid, but hopefully it don't come to that. But for me, lads, I'm in the camp of keeping him in. So let's see what he does in pre-season and see from there.
Yeah, as I said, I hope I'm wrong. I don't wish any managers to do badly, and I will support them, but my faith has well and truly been grounded to dust.
Well, we all need a rest.
Well, we've got a couple of months off now, and let's enjoy the summer and then.
Exactly. And fair play to you and Bin Man and the lad. You and Brad and that for organising the bus and taking Latics fans up and down the country. Well, mainly down the country. What fair play to you. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Thanks for getting in touch, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, Bin Man. Thanks for all your help. Just buy us a coffee.
Right.
Well.
So are we going to finish with a wrap? Yeah, so that's a wrap. So listen, we're done for the 23-24 season. Has been a bit of a damp squib.
Thanks to Mark White, Andy Ritchie, Sean Fryer, Alex Reid, Lee Duxbury, no, it was last season. And all the other guests, every single caller, AB Bin Man, Gazapalooza, Paddy Harwood, Daz, Robbie McGrawther,
everyone, Graham,
everyone, Michael Ingle, everyone.
Yeah,
you've been fantastic, and we wouldn't do this show without you. And thank you to you, sir, Matt Dean,
and you, sexy Dave Bradley.
So
if you do want to buy us coffee. So now, Dave, fans can buy us a coffee. How do you like your coffee?
Like an ice cream, white frothy latte.
Latte. So if you want to buy Dave a
latte,
then you can go to buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast. I'll just take mine black. Right, we're done.
Yeah, now piss off.
Thank you for listening to the Boundary Park Alert System, a QPod production hosted and produced weekly by Matt Dean, Andy Halliwell and Dave Bradley. QPod is Oldham's only dedicated podcast production company, and if you'd like to learn more about how podcasting can help take your brand to the next level, visit kupod.co.uk. A huge thank you goes to all those people who subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. We really appreciate you all. Please visit oafcpodcast.co.uk and click Be a Supporter or find the link in the show notes if you'd like to help us fund the show. It's only $2.99 per month to subscribe, but if you'd rather make a one-off donation, please visit buymeacoffee.com/OAFC podcast or click the link on our website. Don't miss the Latics football phone-in every Wednesday live from 8:30 p.m. Please visit youtube.com/@OAFC podcast and do hit subscribe while you are there. You can also follow and interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and TikTok @OAFC podcast. Big thanks go to Eileen Finnegan for writing our excellent weekly blog, which we encourage you to read on our website every Saturday morning, and also to Paul Prendergast for providing us with all the Latics Mind questions. The title music for the show is by Manchester DJ and producer Starion, and for more information visit bandcamp.com/Red Laser Records. If you'd like to be a guest or contribute to the show, we would love to hear from you. Until then, see you next time.